This camera weighs almost nothing, and this one might replace your entire camera setup. Today, we're comparing two very different takes on the same idea, capturing everything, everywhere in 360 degrees. The Insta360 X4 Air and the Insta360 X5 look similar at first glance, but trust me, they are built for completely different people. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one makes sense for you and which one would be a waste of money. We'll go through the full specs, real-world use cases, and design philosophy behind both cameras, not just what's on the box, but how they actually fit into your workflow. Just a clear practical comparison. But depending on how you shoot, the better camera on paper isn't always the better choice in practice. Let's start with the big idea, because this is where most comparisons get it wrong. The X4 Air is about freedom. Just enjoy the moment and frame your videos later. The X5, on the other hand, is about control, better sensors, better low-light performance. It's built for people who care deeply about image quality and consistency. Same brand, same ecosystem, but slightly different intent. This is exactly where a lot of people underestimate what actually matters long-term. Pick up the X4 Air, and the first thing you notice is the weight, or rather, the lack of it. At around 145 grams, it almost disappears on a selfie stick, helmet, or backpack. You will definitely feel the difference during a whole day trip when using a neck mount or using it as a behind-the-scenes camera mounted on your other devices. The X5 is heavier, about 200 grams, but that weight buys you something important: a more rugged body and a more serious internal setup. This difference feels small at first, but it starts to matter after a full day of shooting, not 5 minutes. There's a difference between these cameras that specs don't show, but you feel it every single time you press record. And if you've ever used an Insta360 camera before, both will feel instantly familiar, but in a different way. The main design of the X4 Air fits the new line of Insta360 cameras, like the X5, with the new position of the USB socket and the microphone placements on the camera body. Even more, the patterns on the sides look and feel familiar, while the back side of the camera looks like a simplified version of the X5. On the other hand, the front side is very different. You'll find a smaller touchscreen, but the biggest difference is in the buttons. Instead of the dual front button structure we've been familiar with since the X3, the X4 Air only has a single record button resembling the X2. And in terms of camera size, the X4 Air has similar dimensions to the X2. In this aspect, the front side of the X4 Air looks like an X2 with a bigger touchscreen. But what is very important is that the X4 Air now also has replaceable lenses. Of course, the camera has different lenses than the X5, so you cannot replace them with X5 lenses. However, the X4 Air has its own lens replacement kit, following the same approach. Everything you need to change a broken lens on the spot, including all the necessary tools. And here comes the biggest question. So why is it an X4 Air instead of X5 Air? Well, it's not about the design, but definitely what's inside. Taking a quick look at the camera menu, you'll see that some functions are missing from the X4 Air, which we can find in X5. So function-wise, this camera mostly feels like the X4. And I'll go in more details soon. First, when it comes to image quality. Now let's talk about the most important difference, the part that actually affects how your footage looks. The X4 Air uses dual half-inch sensors, great in daylight, crisp, clean, and reliable. In certain cases, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference compared to the X5. The X5 steps it up with larger sensors and multiple imaging chips working together. What does that mean in real life? Less noise at night, better dynamic range, and more detail in shadows. If you've ever filmed at sunset, indoors, or at night, this alone might decide the winner for you. And as I mentioned, the X5 has more video functions, among others featuring pure video mode dedicated to low-light shooting. This goes beyond just taking advantage of the upgraded hardware. It also includes software solutions to enhance image quality in night shots, reducing noise in the shadows while preserving detail in the highlights. And this is where the gap really starts to show, but only if this kind of shooting is part of your normal workflow. we can see that both cameras shoot 8K 360 video. The biggest difference is that the X5 can also shoot 4K 120 FPS slow motion, while the X4 Air is limited to 50 FPS in both 6K and 4K resolutions. And when it comes to further features, like reframing videos on the go, X4 Air only has the basic Instaframe mode, while X5 has an advanced and definitely more usable version, Instaframe 2 with the virtual gimbal and dynamic tracking 2 functions. If you're interested about these upgrades, check out my detailed video about the latest firmware update of X5 in the top right corner.
And audio is where action cameras often fail, but both Insta360 models have built-in wind reduction, using similar physical shields and the same algorithms to improve audio quality and selection of several audio recording options. And besides having improved audio capabilities, both cameras are compatible with the Insta360 Mic Air for an invisible lavalier mic option and even better audio quality when it comes to recording dialogues.
Although both cameras have the same photo options, there are some important differences in resolution. With the X4 Air, all 360 photos are 29 megapixels, including standard panoramic photos, star lapses, bursts, or interval shots. In certain cases, like shooting star lapses, this may seem like an upgrade compared to the X5, but it's less than half the size of its normal 360 photos. This makes it a bit low resolution for virtual tours. So if you really need higher 72 megapixel photos, X5 is definitely the better choice. But here's the good news. Both cameras live in the same excellent Insta360 ecosystem. AI editing, auto reframing, mobile and desktop workflows. It's all here. You can create short videos using the AI editing tools in the Insta360 app and much more. But you'll find small differences in built-in effects, like bullet time recording. X5 can capture bullet time up to 120 FPS, while X4 Air is limited at 100 FPS. However, if you shoot with PAL standards based on 25 FPS, this frame rate will be more suitable for your projects. So let's make this simple. Choose the Insta360 X4 Air if you want maximum portability, easy, fun shooting, travel, social media content, and when 360 photography is not as important for you as video. Choose the Insta360 X5 if you want better low-light performance or more cinematic, professional results. And of course, if you'd like to use your camera to take 360 photos or even shoot virtual tours with your camera. Neither is better. One is just better for you.
So yes, the X5 is the better camera on paper, but depending on how you shoot, the X4 Air can be the better decision. If you found this comparison useful, hit the like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments which camera would you choose and why. And for more 360 tutorials and video reviews, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.